Democracy is an idea that is so dominant that most would not characterize themselves as being pro-democracy any more than you might characterize yourself as being pro-breathing. It is something that's assumed to be good and we are ingrained to believe it is good. Democracy is often spoken of as synonymous with freedom. It is considered one and the same. In other words, if there is democracy there must also be freedom, which if you think about it there is no reason for that to be the case. In fact, under the rule of a democratic regime you have little freedom at all. The reason for this is deep-rooted in the mechanics of the system. Firstly, the will of the majority is absolute. Whatever the majority dictates must be enforced by the power of the state. The apparatus of the state, that is to say, the armed forces, the police and the courts are all used as tools to enforce the will of this majority. If you resist this then you will be imprisoned, and if you resist with force, you will be killed. This is a brutal and violent system. It is not fair, it is not enlightened. You have no say in this, you cannot opt out of this. This is because the right of the majority to impose its political will on you is considered higher than any right you may think you have to personal freedom. This is essentially mob rule, with the state acting as a middleman between you and the mob. Secondly, in a democracy you own nothing and have no property rights. If you actually owned what you call your money, nobody would be able to vote to increase taxes on you or to take any of it away. The fact that this is able to be done is because in reality you are subjugated by the masses and everything is communally owned and able to be taken. What you have is just what the state allows you to temporarily hold onto, until it decides you no longer have the right to have it. If you think you own a house, you do not. If you have a house or other dwelling then you must pay a levy to the state called a property tax. This is because you don't own your home, the state does. They are simply letting you live in it. Even if you buy a house outright and own a deed for it you must pay this fee to the state just as a renter pays a fee to a landlord. If you actually own what you call your home the state would not be able to levy this fee against you. The state has a claim to everything you have. Even when you die you are not free from taxation. A large tribute called an estate tax is levied upon your death because ultimately you yourself are owned by the state and have denied the state future revenue, and so whatever you might have left must be taken to compensate it. In the ancient world the right to property had a sacred value. The maxim of, "Though I be hurled head down into the infernal regions, I will do nothing that is not noble," was adhered to. There are many graves of ancient warriors that have been buried with all their possessions alongside them. Historians claim without merit that these warriors were buried with items such as their weapons, armor, chariots, food, gold and silver because it was believed that they might need them in the afterlife, but this is a foolish misinterpretation. Obviously, what is in a grave cannot be taken with you, and this was understood. Rather, these items appear in the graves of ancient warriors because these warriors died prematurely in battle without any heirs to leave their possessions to. Their fellow warriors, having such respect for the fallen, would rather bury their property with them uselessly than take a single coin from them. Such was the nobility and spiritual virtue in those times, an extreme contrast from today. Well, that's enough for now. See you in the next video.